A very good evening to one and all. No phones, because phones are a distraction. Actually, phones were not there when I was small. And because of that, there was no window for us to technology like there is now. I'd like you all to close your eyes. Imagine yourself in a classroom. You all are every day in a classroom, right? So, two children. One, your teacher, you can imagine anyone, a principal ma'am or Monica ma'am or anyone, asking you a question, a simple question. What is the capital of India? New Delhi, exactly. But one child stood up and said, Calcutta. That child was asked to sit down, and the other child, who gave the correct answer, was asked to remain standing, and subsequently, the child was thrown out of the class. Later, the same child was made to sit at the back bench, and a bunch of children gave her pencils and asked her to sharpen them. She was getting bored in the class because it was a maths class, and the teacher was busy writing on the blackboard and not thinking that there was a different kind of child in the class. So the others took advantage of the situation and gave her all their pencils to sharpen. And when she finished sharpening one pencil, one girl held it up and showed the entire class, my pencil has been perfectly sharpened. The next period came, and it was games. Everyone went out. They were playing ball, they were playing kho-kho, there was sound of whistles, and so on and so forth. This girl was told to sit quietly in the class. Finally, the bell rang and the school was over. The girl went home and cried. This girl was a blind girl, and her name is Tiffany Brar. This is what you call non-inclusive attitude. I then later asked my parents to enroll me into a special school. And in the special school, I learned Braille. I learned how to walk and run and do many other things. And finally, I grew up. I went to college, I went to work, and then I became a teacher. I started a mobile blind school, which meant traveling to the houses of visually impaired people in public transport, using this white cane of mine. Now, earlier, I used to go everywhere with my Didi, Vinita Didi, who is like a mother to me, and who, along with my father, were very scared of sending me alone. But later, when I started working, my boss, who is also visually impaired, said that you are no different than anyone else. You should go. Use your cane and go. She was the founder of Braille Without Borders, Kantari International, Sabriette and Birkin. So I started going. And these two individuals, both my well-wishers at home, stopped being scared and started delegating me with things like sending parcels, going to the bank, doing little odd jobs for the house. And soon, they became lazy, and I started doing all the outside jobs. So I went to a house, and in this house there was a boy who was 26 years old. He had never stepped out of his house. He had never been to school. And I said, what are you going to do in your life? And he said, I don't know. I said, we are having a camp on so-and-so date. Please come. We had a camp for visually impaired people. We taught them the use of the white cane. We taught them how to board public transport. This boy traveled by bus. He got lost, like me, like I once did. And then he got lost again. And the third time, he became more confident. He started using a Nokia phone with talks. He also started using a computer. And then he got a job at the Kerala Federation for the Blind as a sound editor. He studied online through the open school process. And then he wrote the competitive exam. And now his name is in the rank list and he's about to get a government job. So there are many such success stories. There's nothing that one can't do. It's the society that determines what we should do and what we should not do. Where is the inclusion? Where in a school like this are there any disabled children? Has anyone asked themselves why? Because, one, children can't afford, that's fair enough, but if they can, will they get admission? According to Article 6 of the Rights of Persons with Disabilities Act, any child is entitled to get admission in any school. And there should be proper resource teachers and provisions according to the Education Policy 2020. So I think no school should deny admission to children with special needs. I wouldn't say special needs, disabilities. What is this cliche that we hold every day? Special children, differently abled, Divyangjan. I'm sure Ansari sir will really nationalize the word. We don't want to be called differently abled anymore. We want to be just called like we are always called. Blind, deaf, autistic, whatever. There are 21 disabilities according to the RPWD Act. We want to be treated like everyone else, just be called people with disabilities. When you say differently abled, can I, like Harry Potter, fly on a broomstick? That I'm differently abled, aren't I? No, I can't. I can't fly on a broomstick. But what I can do is read in the dark. I can eat in the dark. How many of you can eat in the dark? I'm sure your food would be falling all over the floor. For this, we also have sensitization programs like dining in the dark, which is an old European concept. When I come back to inclusion, I would like to say that inclusion is a natural process. Diversity is a fact. Inclusion is a choice. It's a fact that someone's different. Someone's white, someone's black, someone's a dwarf, someone's tall, someone's short. Why are we discriminated? Because we're blind, because we're deaf, because we're autistic. We just need a few adaptations. Why aren't we taken to the movies? When I was in school, my friends used to bunk class and go to the movies. In college, not in school, sorry, college. And they used to say, you can't watch a movie. Don't say you can watch a movie, you can hear the movie. And I said, why can't I say I can watch the movie? Because I can hear the dialogue. And now, in Jio Hotstar and some of the applications, their movies are audio described. There are organizations which have taken it up. So we can also watch movies like you. Why can't we go for picnics like everyone else? Because people don't take us. They think that we just can't do it. So there are many factors which are not at all inclusive. Now, as I go along the line, as I teach my visually impaired students how I grew up, I had to keep changing schools because my father was posted in different places. So just when I got used to one place, it was time to jump up and go to the next place. And I was very cross with my parents. I was like, why am I changing schools? I would learn a language, and then it would be time to jump up and go to the next place and learn the next language. But I suffered a lot in my education because people were not ready to accept me except in the special schools. And other people used to just think I'm their inspiration. Why are we considered as your inspiration? Is it because we're disabled? Is it because we are different? Why is it oh, you can't do this. It's either, oh, bichara, oh, he's blind, oh. Or it's, wow, Tiffany, you came all the way from Kerala, alone. You're inspiring. No, I'm not inspiring. I'm just doing what everyone else does. It's just that I walk with a white cane and I have to feel around while you have to look around. It's not the end of the world. It's not such a big deal. Some people like to bask in that inspiration. But there are many people who just are tired of being everyone else's inspiration. We just want to be treated with our adaptations. When we cross the road, we want people to grab our hand and help us cross the road. We don't want people to say, oh, hi, bichara, tumhe ghar mein koi nahi hai kya? Is there no one to help you at home? Why? Why this question? Why don't I have the right to go out freely without being asking these questions? Why this cliche? This is because of our attitude. No one asks in Belgium and Germany, in Europe, in other parts of Europe, in England, no one asks you such kind of questions. There's the button on the lamppost that you press, and the road, there's a noise that happens there. All the pedestrians stop, the vehicles stop, and the blind person calmly crosses the road. Here, no one stops for anyone. I have to stand for minutes on the road just waiting for someone with my white cane held like this and my hand held out for help. Then someone or the other comes and helps and says, why didn't you bring anyone with you? Because everyone at home is busy. For God's sake, my dad's retired. He's got to rest, or he's got to travel. Or my Didi is also busy at home. Or my colleagues are busy. Why do I have to always bring someone along? If I want to go, I should be allowed to go. Why does the society have to keep on asking me these questions? When we go for a job interview, oh, you can only answer the telephone, right? Because your voice is good. I can type Excel documents too. I can write emails. I can write letters. I can correct your CV. I can interview you. I can decide whether you're good for this job or not. Why is it that I only have to answer the telephone? Why is it that I only have to answer the telephone? Because it's cliched that blind people are good at customer care jobs. Or they're good at singing songs. Anyone who meets me, oh, you're blind. Okay. Do you sing? Okay, I sing, but there are many blind people who don't like to sing or who don't want to sing. Singing is a talent on its own. It's not because you're blind. Maybe blind people have a better focus skill or a better listening skill and we enjoy music, but that does not mean that we have to sing. There are blind people I know who have lousy voices, who just don't know how to sing. But everyone else thinks that, oh, she can sing. There are blind people who can fire juggle. There are people who do martial arts. There are autistic people who can remember all the days of the calendar. 365 days. David Blunkett, who was he? The Home Minister of the United Kingdom. Is there any disabled minister in India? Has there ever been a disabled president or prime minister or MLA or even chief minister? No, because the files are not accessible. People don't want to make things accessible. Why? Why doesn't our country change? We have to change. The Welham boys, you have to grow up and change. The Kim Jyoti school, the Doon school, all the schools here today, you guys are the futures of tomorrow. You guys have to raise your voices and change India, change the situation, change and raise your voices for people like us. Maybe I, among the 1/3 population of visually impaired in India, can raise my voice. But the rest of the visually impaired people are tucked within the four walls of their houses. They are not fortunate to have been given an English education and to come and speak at a TEDx platform. Some can, there are many, but some really can't. Who talks for them? Where are their voices? Where is the inclusion? Why are the disabled people not in the forefront? It's our country that has to change, our roads that have to change, our footpaths. People like you, if you see a blind person, Help them cross the road. Go and visit the National Institute for the Visually Handicapped in Rajpur Road. Find out what happens there. You can read them a story. You can record books. It's not that charity only begins with money, 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 money. You are not earning money, but you can earn your talents. You can give your voice. You can give your language skill. There are many things that you can give. If you have been fortunate enough to get the best education in one of the best schools in India, I think you can give back in your small way. And when you grow up, you will all be earning multi-billions. With the education you have, you will all be starting your own firms and your own companies and your own businesses, working in the top countries, the top multinationals, and you can then give back financially. But for now, you can think of how you can empathize with the world, how you can empathize with that underprivileged person out there, how you can empathize with the cleaner's child of your school, how you can say 2 kind words, just 2 good words to them. How can you help a poor child study? By teaching them, by giving them your old books, by helping them in some way. So help is not only monetary. Help is in many, many ways. Volunteering, changing the world, working for the disabled, working for the underprivileged. My organization is 10 years old. We started on the 12th of April, 2015, my father's birthday. And now it's 2025. We've successfully achieved 10 years, and almost 100 people, visually impaired people, are successfully placed in the government sector. They have all written the competitive exams. They have learned computers. They know how to use the internet. They know how to send emails, work on Excel sheets, and they use screen readers, and they are in government positions, in the bank. They are college lecturers. There are PhD scholars, JRF researchers, and many more. People who were closeted within the 4 walls, who had never been to school, have now successfully passed their exams and are in government positions. Some are doing higher studies. People have got to different positions, not only in Kerala, not only in our Jyotirgamaya Foundation, which is a young, or 10 years young NGO, which works for the visually impaired. We also want to better the lives of young children from poor backgrounds in the future. We want to do many things just to put a smile on somebody's face. It does not take long. So try to bring inclusivity. I've done skydiving, I've done paragliding, I've done rope riding, I've done wall climbing. All these are adventurous activities. Not to prove a point, but to enjoy myself, first of all, as a blind person. Hey, why can't I enjoy myself? And secondly, to show the world that visually impaired people can also do whatever they want. There are no barriers, no borders. So I'd like to leave you all with one thought. Look at the world around you. Thank God for the little privileges you have. Don't complain about what you don't have. We struggled for textbooks. Visually impaired people don't get their textbooks until the day before the examination. The blind organizations don't print it in Braille for us. But now, visually impaired people are writing their exams on the computer. But not everyone, a few. A few who have the knowledge, and a few whose parents go up to that level and ask the government, appeal for their children to write. There's a blind person who wrote their exams on computers, but their parents had to really run around for that. There are some people who just could not. I could not, because the computers were not that popular during those days. I virtually just passed my maths exam because there were no special educators to actually teach us. What's a square? What's a triangle? No one had the time. No one had the skills. But now things are changing. Technology is developing. So now I think the world is going to be a better place for everyone. God bless you all. Thank you.